Welcome to the Big Fat Real Estate Checks podcast with Marco Kozlowski, where we help investors like you get the knowledge and skills you need to replace your JOB with passive cash flow for life.
Hey everyone, welcome to yet another edition of Big Fat Real Estate Checks, and I am joined today with Gabriel Araiz and Franca Galuccio, and I am Marco Kozlowski, your fearless leader for today, where we're going to be discussing new skill sets, new things to learn, implement, and take action on to be able to build more skill sets, to be able to leverage other people's money, never use your own money, have access to money, access to the right people, to be able to diversify your portfolio, in fact, or start a portfolio of assets that are cash flowing on a daily basis, weekly basis, or monthly basis to build your wealth, create generational wealth, and never have to use your own money or risk your own money in order to buy assets in the United States, no matter where you live in the world. Now, all three of us happen to be Canadian, and we do things from afar. And even though I live in Orlando, and don't really leave my perch much when I'm buying property. We're just about to buy property a few states away. Didn't even have to go see it. I'm working on a deal in Illinois, 168 units up there. Never have to leave my house in order to get it done. Have a whole team to do it, which is what we're going to discuss today, is having the right power team, the right structure of people that will be able to do things for you so you never have to leave your living room, no matter where you live in the world. If you live in Tuktoyaktuk, you can, and most people don't know where that is, but you could just be stuck there and still buy millions of dollars in properties every single day if you wanted to, if you had the right team and structure to be able to make that work. So it's just a matter of leveraging your time and your manpower or woman power or shim power. We have to be careful these days because everyone's offended by everything. So got to be careful. All right. So who wants to start with this fun impromptu topic? We actually just had a podcast that we recorded and thought, hey, we that slipped out, and we're like, hey, why don't we do this? So that's what we're doing right now. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. We can start with, we'll quickly brush over the property manager. We've, I think, on multiple podcasts mentioned that the property manager is one of the most important pieces on your chessboard. And, we have a podcast on how to really go through and select them. But, just to recap here is, you need to always, before you even get into a property or buying the property, once it's under contract and you're doing your due diligence, make sure that you at least interview 3 property managers, and those 3 property managers that you interview have to be willing and able to manage the property. And what does that mean? It means that they have experience in that area where you have your property, that they understand the area. They can give you an overview of the area, what type of renters there are, that they can also find you renters for that area should you have units that are vacant. And the other thing is also understand who they are and if they have their own power team as well. You don't have to use them, but it's important for you to know that they have access to people, because sometimes when there is an emergency, if you don't have time to do your own homework, well, then you need to have someone that can come in quickly. So having the right property manager is extremely important, and that's going to be, or set the stage at least for the rest of your power team, because once you have a really good property manager, and if there's integrity there, if they're, they take pride in doing their job, then they usually, and I say usually because you always have to vet and you can't, nothing's a guarantee, but they'll usually surround themselves with people that work like them. And if that's the case, then that makes your job a whole lot easier. So for property managers, I'd say that's the most important part, because they're going to be the ones who are your, your orchestra leader here if anything happens to the property.
Yeah. That's definitely property managers. Well, I look at, let's start from the beginning, actually. So when you get into a deal, usually you have even realtors working for you. As Marco would say, you have your golden retrievers. They're already out in the field. So like Marco said, if you're in that town that he mentioned, which I can't pronounce, but if you're there and you're not buying properties in that particular area, you need a team out there looking for properties based on your criteria, buying below market, underperforming, things like that. So your team starts actually with your golden retrievers, whether they're realtors, bird dogs, they call them, wholesalers. They're already there doing the legwork for you. So that's where my team would start. And you want as many as possible like that to work with, because you build that relationship, and they'll do favors for you because you're doing them a favor. You're giving them, once you close on deals, you're giving them commission. They're eating. They're happy, and when they're happy, they're going to give you more. So it would start with there, and then the next thing beyond that, it would be title companies. I know we just had a recent property that we had on the contract in Daytona, and we went with one title company in the area, and they wanted us to fill out certain documentation that were kind of against what we had in our purchase and sale agreement. In the event, we don't go through, in the event the due diligence doesn't check out, we want to be able to get our EMD back, our deposit, earnest money deposit back. And some title companies will send you their policy saying that, hey, both parties or all parties have to sign before I can release your EMD back. And we kind of didn't like that, because sometimes sellers will, keep your earnest money deposit prisoner, hostage. Yep. And I know I have one for the last 2 years because of that reason, but that's a different story. But so we switched title companies. We went to another title company and say, hey, this is what we're looking for. This is, we're comfortable with this, but we need this clause in there because we've been burned before. And they were willing to work for us. So guess what? Guess who's going to get the business now? It's that particular title company. So realtor, title company would be the first coming out of the gate for myself. And then, yes, you would go, obviously, what Gabe just said is to looking at the managers. That's the pivotal point. If you don't have the proper manager, you are screwed, especially if you buy a property that's far away and not within your grasp. If they leave and you don't have enough property manager to fill those boots, if your current property manager leaves, you can be in a heat of trouble. That's for sure.
Need at least 3 of them also that have gone through the checklist of what we're looking for, and make sure they do things on time, follow the checklist that we have, and are willing to do things our way, because we have a very specific way of management that we're looking for, a style optimization. We are looking for certain things for the optimization phase and the stabilization phase. So they have to be able to handle either one part or another part, because some managers are really good at optimization, and some managers are really good at just keeping it stable. They're very good at making sure those numbers are on track. When you're growing a business, it's not the same CEO or leadership as someone that's running the business to keep it stable and have slow growth. Totally different skill sets. So you want to have different managers that are able to handle different things, because there's always chaos in the optimization phase, handling contractors, which is another very important element of having the right person in play that manages things properly. Case in point, Frank, he was going to get something done in 6 months, and it took him almost 6 years of living at my house. Had to almost evict the guy.
It was at 6 years. You're embellishing that. It did feel like it. Yes.
It felt like 6 years. I am embellishing a little bit, but it actually...
it was triple.
Once you realize it was 3 times the amount, and it actually cost you more than the actual building almost for it not to be open, which when I reminded him of that, and he really understood it, that's when the heat got turned on and actually got done very quickly when he got that. And we're all learning. We're on this planet to learn as much as we can. So as skilled as we become, there's certain small little details that sometimes we forget that actually cost us quite a bit. So having the right property managers, having the right title company, having the right agents that are bringing us deal, the right wholesalers as well. We had a podcast recently. If you haven't heard it yet, please go listen to those on dealing with wholesalers and making sure that we have the right team of wholesalers that are finding us the right opportunities, because they don't necessarily have the skill sets to be able to put the package together to be able to buy it using their own money. Although if they were educated, they could. I think I told the story there in that podcast of a wholesaler that just refuses to be educated and keeps giving me banana deals, massive returns, but she's too busy finding deals and not interested in learning new skill sets in order to actually take these down herself. So just having the right structure in place to be able to have those people is going to be absolutely vital. And it might sound like you're drinking water from a fire hose. Well, how do I find all these people? It's one step at a time, or shameless plug, if you join a program that really helps you step by step with processes to find each one perfectly and you take the time that it takes to master one, then the next, and the next, you're suddenly surrounded by a power team of people that are going to get wealthy as you get wealthy. If everyone around you gets wealthy with you, they're going to pull you. You don't have to be pushed. You're pulled along for the ride. You're going to get an agent that's going to say, hey, found a great deal, here you go. Then you're going to find the right property manager that's going to say, man, I can't wait to do this project. I can't wait to optimize this project. I can't wait to stabilize this project. Then you have a mortgage broker, right? The asset-based lending mortgage brokers that we have that will be able to, hey, this is the right fit for the purchase. This is the right fit for the for the refi. This is how much we can pull out on the refi. And all the pieces are in play because you have the right team. I'm going to stop talking now because I feel like I'm talking too much. So
no, not at all. Those are all important. And also I want to add to that, as you're doing your due diligence, you want a good inspector. So I have, a few that I rely on. They have these drones. They do everything, through a software. So I don't have to read chicken scratch or calligraphy or whatever. And having the inspector, but actually one power team member that I do have that's a blessing is my banker, is the branch manager of my bank. Because I'm at a distance, there's certain things that either need to be signed or whatever, and they're very they'll do things. Maurice and I got Sabrina at TD. Plug in for Sabrina if she's listening in Florida. Like bless them, because there's some things that I can't do, and they go, Frank, you really you got to be in the branch for this shit. And they go, but we know you and this and that. And they do the Zoom or they do whatever, and they get it done. And that's a blessing right there, because there's a lot of things that, like, to open a bank account, I can open it right here in my room in Florida without even stepping foot in the U.S., which I can't.
We might have to change Sabrina's name because
what?
And if Sabrina's doing something she shouldn't be doing, and we're saying how awesome she is by doing it, what she shouldn't be doing, I don't want Sabrina to lose her job.
No, she doesn't do anything illegal. Right. She makes it easy for me to. No. If I still got to get something notarized, I use an online notary, which is legit. You can use it. That's
another power team. Most people think they have to leave their house in order to get notarized. I have to be in the U.S. to do things. We can do everything from our laptop. Where we're sitting right here to record this podcast, where you're listening to it from anywhere in the world, we do the exact same thing buying property.
Yeah, that's what I mean with Sabrina. So you have to be in branch to sign shit, but she's okay with getting something notarized, and she referred me to a web service that pretty much anyone can have, and it's considered it's legit. It's good. Right. So I
just want to make. I just want to put.
Yeah, that's fine. I appreciate that.
If you have the right team members that will do the right things, we can do banking from text messages and phone calls because of the relationship we have. They're not doing anything immoral, illegal, or that's going to compromise their position because they have a relationship, they know who we are, and anything that is official, they just need a specific checks and balances. And I know that very few people will be able to do that and understand that. If you're a regular, person working 9 to 5, it's an act of God to go to the bank. It's a pain in the ass. You can't send money at the right time at the right place. You got to follow all these rules. We can pick up the phone and have millions wired, because of the relationships that we have. And we can do this online, fill out a form, click, boom, it's done. Okay, you got it. See you later. So, and we can really move massive amounts of cash or assets around, even build assets, create structures, build new companies from the internet. It's because we know what to do and we have the right relationships. Gabe, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that there's 2 more members in your power team or maybe 3. First one is insurance brokers. And insurance is I know that going through insurance, it's a mess, and it's not always easy, especially if you've had a claim beforehand. So if you have a good relationship with your insurance broker, they're always going to be working for you, fighting for you, understand your needs, and they'll be able to go get you exactly what you need for your properties. So don't discount the insurance brokers. Make sure that you have a good relationship with them. Include them in every one of your deals because they work on volume as well. So the more you bring to them, the more they'll be able to shop for you, and they'll be like Costco. So that's the one member. The other one is have good good money partners. There's a lot of wealthy people out there that you may have start doing having relationships with, especially after doing a couple of deals. These individuals are invaluable because as you get stronger at creating your power team and having better relationships with your realtors, you'll start getting these deals that are going to be more and more interesting, but that are going to have shorter and shorter time fuses. Well, you're gonna have to move really, really quickly. So even if it's someone that can just bridge your gap for even 30 days or 60 days till you get your hard money lender in, or another traditional lender in, have someone there that can come and bridge that gap and help you get into these deals, and they can make, they'll make some money in the process, and I'm sure they'll be happy with a nice return for just, giving you some of the money for 30, 60 days or whatnot.
Well, even, money sources for taking over debt, where there's net after debt service, or your cash on cash return is 56, 80%. We come across a lot of deals where we're taking over debt and the seller wants, $100,000 to get out right now, and the thing makes $80,000 net after debt service. And it's underutilized. There's still 30% occupancy that we can fill, vacancy that we can fill. Forgive me. So it's just stupid money, and having someone to be able to just hand over $100,000, be part of the deal, give them even a 15% return when you're making 80, is very handy, because there are no asset-based lenders that will give you that amount of cash other than internally. We have a lot of internal investors that will help our own tribe, our own community to do that. But do you really want to be paying 15% on money? If you're making 80% and you're paying out 15, absolutely. But I would rather be paying 5% or 6% or 7% with the right, connections myself. So there's so many individuals and humans that can help you really make more money by them making a lot of money. If I'm making you, the listener, if you have some $100,000 sitting in your self-directed Roth IRA or self-directed RSP, and I'm making you a 15% return, you're going to be absolutely thrilled, secured on this deal. And if I miss one payment, you get the deal, and now you're making 80%. So there's absolutely no way you can lose. And it's structuring it in that way where anyone that's working with you, if you don't keep your promise, you lose. They win more by you not keeping your promise, not them losing. And that's how every deal should be structured, where if I don't keep my promises, you're going to double your returns. And they're hoping every single morning, doing a pee-pee dance, that you don't keep your promise. So forgive me for stepping in there, but I thought it would be a good add-on to what you just said, Gabe.
Yep.
Frank?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there was just a couple more where you just mentioned something. Having I know when I joined the program, having an asset protection lawyer on your side.
Protection.
Oh yeah.
Very important. So Uncle Sam or the IRS doesn't take more than what they're entitled to, and the same thing if you're a foreign national like we are. You got to be very careful how you structure, because you could be paying 2-3 times the tax because they're not recognizing how your structure is, and that's 100% true, which is scary. But what I wanted to get on that. The ultimate journey, like the ultimate power team member to start your journey was you, Marco. I needed a coach. I needed someone to show me the ropes, hold my hand to do it. Because again, I didn't start off buying properties in the U.S. I probably would have done it anyways if I didn't meet Marco, but it most likely would have been the wrong way because I was always on the wrong path. We have a certain vision on how to buy properties. And I talked to my friends out here. Yeah, we're going to buy property. We contacted a realtor. Already that's wrong. Yeah. Mm-hmm. To a certain degree. You want realtors on your side, but I already know how that conversation is going to go. So a coach or a mentor, someone, again, it doesn't have to be Marco, but someone that's done it, did it, and can show you the ropes so you don't get hurt, so you can mitigate your risk. That's my power team. So thank you, Marco, on that.
My pleasure. Mucho gusto.
Mucho gusto. Gracias.
El gusto es mío.
El gusto es mío.
Yeah.
Mucho gusto es mío. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
And a translator, in case you're... That's part of your power.
Grazie mille, Francesco.
And Google is your power team.
Prego.
Ah, Marco. Va bene. Bello.
Gabe, you had a few more, I think, and I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to add. I mean, Frank said the asset protection lawyer, but it's also a tax, not a tax attorney, but a tax accountant. Make sure that you're well protected, not only to protect your assets, but to minimize your tax implications. And the one thing I want to say this because the listener could be anywhere around the world right now, and just make sure that whoever you're dealing with is someone who has an expertise in both the country you're buying the property in and the country you are currently located in. So in my case, being in Canada, I need a tax attorney and a tax accountant that understand the rules on both sides of the border so that they can optimize my structure. And, I won't lie, I've had to redo my structure because I had the wrong people dealing with that at the onset. Now I know I have the right people doing it now. And I want to touch on something else, is you have to be willing to invest in your business, in your structure. And having the right structure may seem that there's going to be costs associated. There's no accountant or tax lawyer is going to work for free, but if you're working with the right ones, the money that you're spending, the extra money you're spending on a really good one versus on some tax accountant that's just going to tell you what you want to hear, is extremely priceless. It's the best investment you'll ever made after having the right mentor, obviously.
Cheap is expensive.
Yes.
It really is. Cheap can be very expensive. And just a side note on that, I was just on Facebook before we started this conversation, and there's someone that posted on how the IRS is going after Canadians, or the CRA is going after Canadians for underperforming on their taxes. And that comment just blew my gasket, because it's a clear not understanding of how to structure your assets in the U.S. Frank, you have extensive knowledge of how the CRA works, and you're doing this yourself. And if you have the wrong, so one member of your power team that you should always have is not someone that doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, or an idiot that is just chirping in your ear that doesn't have good information. Because fear is a very large controller. It stands for forget or fuck everything and run, really. So you don't want to have people that are giving you misinformation, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. And it's really sometimes very difficult to weed out who's actually telling the truth versus who is just full of shit. And I know there's a lot of noise, and maybe there's a podcast that we can do in the future on how to really determine who's full of shit and who's not. I think that might be an interesting podcast to go into. But since we just, create topics on the fly. So is it true that you're going to, if you do things right, are you going to pay more taxes or less taxes? And just from a power team perspective, again, if you have the right team members, Frank, Gabe, you're from an accounting background. You worked at a very prestigious firm, and Frank, you worked for the government. So, also a very prestigious firm. So,
That's a big firm.
It's a big firm. It's national, and they have they're well funded. So
But even on that note, Marco, even though yes, I did work for the CRA, and Gabe is a CPA by trade, I know that Gabe went out and still sought advice from a tax accountant and an asset protection lawyer, and I did the exact same thing. I still spent money, even though I'm diverse in it. I'm not an expert in it. That wasn't my field exactly, but so we did spend. It was a lot of money, and I had to keep my mouth shut. I remember I had my meeting. Yeah. Every word
Frank is cheap. Frank doesn't like to pay.
It's if you get a good tax account, and like Marco said, you get that money back. But they were quite a bit an hour, and I know Gabe, he was joking with me. He goes, Frank, you better shut up during that meeting. But I couldn't.
Put your Zoom on
every word
mute,
I said
buddy.
was like spitting out. Every word equated to $200 at least. But I don't say you have to go and get an expensive one, but do get someone that is diverse, especially in both countries. Like Gabe said, you're going to get that twofold. You're going to get that. You're going to get that back so quickly.
The attorneys that we're talking to now and the accountants we're talking to are for a $50 million private equity fund that we're building. So you want the right structure. And if you're paying $2,000 an hour for, a 10-hour conversation, even if it was $20,000, so you can have $50 million at your disposal whenever you want, however you want, that grows into hundreds of millions. It's peanuts versus the big picture. Now, Frank didn't start off that way. Building private equity funds, there's a process to that. And really anyone that's super confident and competent and that can really help you fold time and reduce your pain in the ass factor, and that maybe costs a little bit more but is worth it, is really going a shortcut. Because I know I'm not cheap, and both of you are millionaires now by making that small investment, and relatively speaking to what your net worth is now, and putting in the effort to make it work. So it's not just getting the right people, but it's also having the right behavior behind it to be able to leverage that power team into great success. And I think we covered enough today to really put that to bed for now. So, listener, thank you so much for being here. And also, of course, Frank and Gabe, you guys are priceless. My brothers from another mother. I can't wait to see your bottom halves since I've only seen your torsos for over a year now. I think you have legs, and I hope you're wearing pants, because I wasn't wearing pants earlier, but that's another conversation for another day.
Hey,
and,
it's classified.
Classified, yes. My power team is also, last member of your power teams, guys, is your family. Making sure that you have this right support from your family, as just a quick side note, because if you have, I know Gabe has tremendous support from his family. I know Frank as well, as, Linda's been very supportive throughout the process, even joined the program as well. Both of you have phenomenal support systems within your family that have helped you really grow your business tremendously, and not only your business but you as humans. And it's really wonderful to see. So anyway, listener, thank you so much. I hope to see you here one day as well, killing it, crushing it, helping us, as many humans as possible, making as much cash flow as you wish, and really applying the information that we give you. And again, if you love it, join us, share it, and we look forward to seeing your great success very soon. Have a great day, great evening, no matter where you are on this spinning planet. Take care, guys. Bye for now.
If you like this episode of Big Fat Real Estate Checks, then show some love by leaving a comment and a good rating. Also, as a thank you for tuning in today, we've got a special free gift. The journey to passive cash flow for life starts by finding deals, and it's easier than you think. Simply go to getdealsbytuesday.com, enter your email address, and we'll send you a free quick start course called Deals by Tuesday. Even if it's 11 p.m. Monday night, this course will show you how to find discounted real estate deals by Tuesday. It's that fast and simple. Go to getdealsbytuesday.com and start your journey toward life-changing cash flow today. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode.